you're watching The Urban Debate. My name is Amita Vadva. And first up, we bring you a story that is mired in controversy and a return, which is symbolically now is being termed as heroic. We're talking about Taslima Nasrin and her homecoming almost in about 2 decades and making the Bangladesh-born author in exile, who is set to return to the city as she calls as her home, which is Kolkata. Now, it has been 19 years since she was forced to flee the city under the shadows of violent protest over her writings. Organizers confirmed that she will be touching down on the 31st of July, and then on the 1st of August, she will be taking stage at Rabindra Sadan for an anti-fundamentalism literary meeting, where there she is expected to recite her poetry. And for a writer who has spent nearly 20 years in exile, this is going to be a symbolic return. Now, the organizers say that several prominent literary and political personalities are likely to attend, and adequate security arrangements that has been assured by the administration. But let's tell you exactly why Taslima Nasrin had to leave Bengal back in 2007. Now, when we speak of the chronology, let's understand that. 2004, Taslima moves to Kolkata. She leaves Bangladesh after death threats. She was faced with the opposition over her writings over there. And then in 2007, protests against Taslima happened. Groups that objected to her novel, Deconstructing, and also demanded, especially when it comes to her leaving the country. Thereafter, in November, protests that happened that turned violent in Kolkata. Roads were blocked, clashes with the police, curfew was imposed in parts of the city. Communal violence is something that was reported that asked Taslima to move out of Kolkata. And long before her dramatic exit from the city of joy, Taslima Nasrin had found herself to be center of another controversy of her novel, Lajja, which was briefly banned in the state of West Bengal. So what this controversy surrounding the book? What is Lajja all about? 1992 Babri demolition backdrop story of Bangladesh Hindu family, communal violence against Hindus, and why it was banned in Bengal? Because one of the reasons that was fear of rise of communal tension, and thereafter when it comes to depicting attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh, Muslim groups objected to the content of her writing, and also the government which cited public order concerns. But why banned in Pakistan? Because the spotlight was on persecution of Hindus, criticism when it comes to religious extremism, objections that were raised from religious groups as well, and the authorities which cited law and order concerns there, which actually forced her exile. Now, Taslima Nasrin's proposed return to Kolkata has now snowballed into a full-blown political slugfest in Bengal. The TMC is now accusing the Bangladeshi author of making remarks against Islam, Shariat and Muslims, and alleging that the BJP is honoring those who target the minority community. The BJP, on the other hand, has now hit back at the TMC and the left, saying that Taslima deserves protection and not persecution. BJP, meanwhile, has targeted both the left front and Mamata Banerjee's TMC, claiming that they failed to protect a globally acclaimed writer-author. Now the BJP further says that Taslima's return reflects confidence in security, assurances that have been provided for this very event.
ভালো হ্যাঁ আমাদের কোনো আপত্তি নেই সরকার দেবে কিনা সেটা দেখবে তাসলিমা তো আর আমাদের পার্টির লোক নয় উনি একজন স্বাধীন সাহিত্যিক সুতরাং তিনি আসবেন মনে করলে সরকার যদি তাকে প্রোটেকশন দেয় আসবেন
आने का मौका नहीं मिला नहीं बोलेंगे उनको प्रोटेक्शन नहीं दिया गया उनको इस्तेमाल किया गया उनको फेंक दिया गया लेफ्ट फ्रंट इतना मुसलमान को लेकर इतना बात करते हैं लेकिन जब उनका किताब लेकर जो सच बात वो लिखे हैं उनको प्रोटेक्शन नहीं दिया लेफ्ट गवर्नमेंट उनको यहाँ से भेज दिया गया था और टीएमसी गवर्नमेंट में तो हर धर्म के लोगों को सिर्फ इस्तेमाल किया गया कि हिंदू की मुसलमान आज माननीय मुख्यमंत्री शुभेंदु अधिकारी जी का गवर्नमेंट में आज तस्लीमा जी आ रहे 1 तारीख को ये हमारे लिए बहुत गर्व और खुशी की बात है
Taslima Nasrin, a noted author who has written extensively on the kind of persecution of Hindus that has taken place at the hands of Islamists in Bangladesh, is now returning to Kolkata. Instead of welcoming it, the TMC and the ISF and Congress put vote bank above even women's security or women's right to speak, and they are abusing her, threatening her, and they are saying that she should not be there, she should not be allowed. This is their intolerance. Just because she has written about the persecution of Hindus at hands of Islamists, they want to block her. They banned her books, they have abused her, heckled her.
Now, there's been a reaction that has come in from the author herself, because she said after the controversy surrounding the ban on her book Lajja in West Bengal in 2023, Nasrin, who took a sharp swipe at Mamata Banerjee, accusing her government of curbing freedom of speech and expression and appeasing to fundamentalist elements, saying that Mamata Banerjee banned my play Lajja, saying that the police allowed all plays but except hers, and also saying that the police fear that Lajja may spark Muslim riots. And why West Bengal Muslim riots over Bangladeshi incident is a question that she had raised, saying that this is nothing but a clear case of suppression and censoring literature. And this happened back in the year 2024. Now the situation has completely changed. Let's in the meantime introduce our guest joining us here on the Urban Debate. We have Priyanka Tibrewal, spokesperson of the BJP, Gargi Nandi Roy, who's also joining us as a political analyst, Asif Ansari as a political analyst, and we have Professor Atikur Rahman as a political analyst joining us here on the Urban Debate. Thank you very much for taking out your time. Gargi, I want a better understanding from you, because when we talk about an author, the ideas, what they want to pen, what they want to express, does it actually have a limit or a boundary to make a kind of a sense which may be offensive to others, or does it become a question of freedom of speech and expression?
Okay, thank you, Amita. You know, Amita, I'm really appalled by the hypocrisy of the left and the TMC, who for their appeasement politics and vote bank politics can stoop down to any level. Okay, we have seen in 2007 how CPM bowed down to the fundamentalists. Now coming to Taslima and Lajja. What is Lajja? Lajja was a docu-fiction about the real persecution of Hindus, destruction of temples, and looting of Hindu businesses in Bangladesh. And interestingly, I'll tell you, Amita, the main character, the patriarch, Sudhamoy Dotto, the Dotto family faces violence. He was shown to be somebody who fought for liberation war, a physician and a communist, and how a communist was disillusioned in Bangladesh. Same, his son's character, Suranjan Dotto, was a journalist, a secular nationalist, how his faith was shattered. So it was entirely how a family's Bangladeshi identity, who lived with Bangladeshi identity, suddenly it was replaced and they were ostracized by the level of being Hindu and finally were forced to flee the country. So that was, so it was very true incident. It was not criticizing any prophet or something like that. It was a docu-fiction, I'm telling. It is more than a literature. Her letter works were more of a literary work. This was like a docu-fiction. Oh, see, he documented that things happened in a fictional way. He just chose a family. So basically, why can't you, if you say history happens, why can't you show it in your literature? Isn't art imitates life? So in literature, she showed what was happening. Now we can understand Bangladesh was under Islamic rule. They did it. Imagine the left government. And left government in 2003, they banned her Deconstructing, which was an autobiographical work. Which means split into two. So it was her autobiographical. That was also banned by Buddhadev Bhattacharya, who was otherwise they are intellectual, secular, and whatever they call themselves. They will support Kashmir Mange Azadi. They will go to the JNU and JNU students and Jadavpur students. They will support. But a writer who has portrayed reality, she is abandoned. And interestingly, even in 2007, when she was forced to leave the state, she was put under house arrest by Buddhadev. She went to again Jaipur. That was under BJP rule. So if you see the events, in 2007 also she had to flee Kolkata. She went to BJP ruled state Rajasthan then. Now again BJP is in power in West Bengal. She is coming back. So that shows that there is a rule of law now, not law of the ruler, not a ruler who is weak, who bends in front of fundamentalists. It is both CPM
so
and
90 years later that we are looking at a homecoming because she refers Kolkata as her home. But Asif Ansari, when we speak of freedom and speech of expression, is this a very selective narrative? What suits when it comes to a political party and their ideology and their vote bank. I mean, isn't persecution of Hindus that has been happening in Bangladesh? Have we forgotten Deepu Das? So if based on true events, we are looking at a writer who is penning her thoughts on paper, how does it become provocative?
Well, Amita, good afternoon, and all the panelists. First of all, I just start that this Taslima Nasrin, she has made a habit to state of the hornet's nest. First of all. Secondly, if she has written anything which has happened in her country, Bangladesh, it is not about the India or the West Bengal. That country, what persecution has happened with the Hindus, brothers, or whatever the communal violence happened in the repercussion of the Babri Masjid demolitions in India, that book was published in Bangladesh. It was not published first in India. They should have banned this. And secondly, there was no demonstration or agitations through from the part of the minority committee of India. They have protested against her blaspheming autobiography, which was called Divided. In Bengali, it's called Deconstructing, I think, if I am mispronouncing the proper name. So where she has talked about her desire of a woman, how she can be used by a tallest of the feminism, where fundamentalists have raised a question, and where she has been blasphemous against the prophet. That was a bone of contention what West Bengal
But
Muslims
why
had
did this
agitated.
situation
But
reach to a breaking point in Kolkata, which is in India? Because that is what I'm talking about is November 2007, Ansari ji. And large-scale demonstrations organized by groups opposing her writings brought the city to a complete standstill.
Well, Amita, I just come to a point. If you see that calling Taslima Nasrin to West Bengal not to stare the hornet, what the value addition she is going to put in? She has never been calculated as a very
No,
intellectual
she's a
writer.
critically
She has
acclaimed
not been a
author, Mr.
scientific writer.
Ansari. If you
She's
don't
not been.
agree
No,
with
she's
her
not
point
been
of
a
view, that may
scientific.
be your personal point.
We are going.
No, that
We are
would be
going
your
to our
personal
own.
point. But if she has the right to express what she wants to, why not give her that kind of a platform? You may not agree with her, that's fine. I mean, Priyanka, let me take that question to you. What has now changed? Let's put that out, because I'm coming to you at this point, because Kolkata, city of joy, but also is the cultural capital of India. And she, Taslima Nasrin, was driven away from here because protest happened by fundamentalists, and that had greatly pained the people over there. But when we speak of the organizers, they are saying that they couldn't do it during the previous governments because it was unsuccessful. This time they approached her directly as far as the chief minister is concerned, who has reportedly giving them the assurance that there would be proper security arrangements that would be made for her.
Correctly spoken. And I would like to start here by saying that, see, we have a system in a country which is run on constitution, and the constitution speaks of fundamental rights. Now this fundamental right and freedom of speech is to each and everybody. I heard Mr. Asif, he was saying that what added advantage will she bring to Kolkata by coming here? What value will she add? Well, do we think like that for everybody, whoever is coming to Bengal, or before this, whoever had come to Bengal? Not at all. Of course, she considers Calcutta as a cultural home. Now, if she wants to come to Kolkata, why should anybody stop? See, in the past, we have seen that her book, Lajja, which spoke about Hindu persecution, was banned here by the left government, and the TMC also was against Taslima Nasrin. So now today, if she is finding that opportunity to come here and come to her place which she considers as a cultural home, and this is, this should be looked into very deeply, that she is finding that atmosphere is there in Bengal now, which was absent earlier. Why? Because again, the only word which explains this is appeasement politics, which was practiced by the left government, which was practiced by the TMC. Now they say that she spoke something about the Islamic religion. No, there are various books in which she has spoken about the women rights. She has spoken about the curbing of the women rights under the Islamic religion and whatsoever. Now, whatever was the problem in Bangladesh, he's saying, why should we be bothered? Why not? Why not? The Hindus who were persecuted, he forgets that they are Hindus from Bengal. They are Hindus from India. So you cannot just, dust your shoulder and say that, we've got nothing, no business with the Hindus who were persecuted there. It is very much a point of interest that we have here. And today, if she's finding that atmosphere, that environment is there, where there is no appeasement for any particular group, that is the reason she wants to come here. She's more than welcome. What scares the left and the TMC?
So who would you blame, Professor Rahman? Because it's the same Janta that had previously voted for the left government, then they switched to the TMC government, and now it is the Shubhendu Adhikari's BJP government. The Awam is the same, sir. But do you believe that Taslima Nasrin's, I beg your pardon, her visit, is it expected to reopen memories, Atikur Rahman, when it comes to the most contentious episodes in West Bengal's recent cultural history?
Amita, let me speak from the point of view of a humble researcher on Islamic studies. And the political maneuvering might be taking place. I won't be speaking about that. Taslima Nasrin, as per my study of the Quran and my Prophet, has every right to express herself. She has every right to express herself against misogyny and patriarchy. She has every right to speak against the orthodox elements in my community, Islam and Muslims. What I object to her is the misquoting, the misrepresentation, and out of context of hers from the Quran and the prophetic traditions. There are lines and pages in Lajja wherein she just picks up a thing. They're saying that this is misogynist, and she quotes the Quran and the Prophet.
No, then Professor Rahman, help me understand, then why did the problem occur in that particular part of the country? It's not that you have only, Muslims who are living or residing in that particular state. You have it all over the country. And a life in exile is something which Taslima Nasrin has been at the center of controversy over her writings for decades, because she has been focusing on what? Women rights, gender equality, patriarchal norms, domestic and structural violence, and that too coming from a woman's face. Is that your objection?
I have no objection with whatever she does. The only thing I am pinpointing, Amita, is that why does she misquote the Quran? The Quran nowhere is misogynist and patriarchal as far as women's position in Islam is concerned. And for your kind information of your viewers and yourself and the panel, Amita, let me quote Dr. Rafiq Zakaria, who has written women's position in Islam when Benazir Bhutto was made the Prime Minister in Pakistan.
No, sir. A quick intervention, because then that requires a rule of the law, sir. Our country is run by it. I'm not talking about Bangladesh, but does it vouch for anyone, Gargi, to announce a reward to anyone who will blacken her face? Several organizations demanded that she leave the country. Even when she was attending an event in Hyderabad, she was roughed up. I mean, does that warrant, freedom of speech and expression to a certain individual?
No, that shows only Talibani culture. And I'll come to what Mr. Atikur Rahman ji said, that why is she quoting or misquoting Quran? He is forgetting that whether Quran is quoted or misquoted, but it is used to persecute the Hindus. It was used to persecute the Hindus. The Hindus were called the kafir. She has only given a family is facing violence. That's the family picked up. But if she is misquoting, and if he is talking about her, she has written about love stories also, about relationships. Read her Fera. Fera is a love story. So everywhere she was not doing that. You have not read all her work. So the thing is, if Quran was misquoted by the people who were using those passages of Quran to persecute Hindus, so she has used that maybe in that context. And it is true, it is open. Whatever she has written in Lajja, forget about the literary quality, as I called it, it's a docu-fiction. And the thing is, why if Hindus were tortured in Bangladesh, why should the government in West Bengal rise up against it? I mean, they should support those Hindus, right? They should be sympathetic towards the Hindus, because we have the same language, same religion. But that did not happen. So everything happened, whether it is the left and the TMC, they just vote down to fundamentalists for their vote back.
Yes, and now from Ansari ji as well, because although the then government of the left had maintained that law and order was its priority, but again I will revisit my question. Does freedom of speech and expression become selective because it goes against your ideology or an ideology of a political party? Because it came under criticism from the free speech advocates who argued that the state had failed to protect a writer who was facing death threats for her views.
Well, Amita ji, as I have listening to all of my co-panelists, also Priyanka ji, that if there is any persecution happen in our neighboring country to the Hindu, that is not been ever liked by any Muslim of this country, because we never consider as party ourselves from a Hindu or Muslim. First, we stand with the Indian.
Correct.
We are Indian. If any Indian, regardless to their religions, been persecuted in any part of the world, will be a painful, pathetic anguish to every citizen of India. That's the first thing. And secondly, there is always a protest against Taslima Nasrin was more political. It was a political Hindu or a political Muslim who
Are you
does
trying
all
to
these
change
things.
the goalposts, sir?
No, not the goalpost. It's about the political narrative they have said. It might be a TMC, it might be a AIM in Hyderabad, it might be a CPM who trying to appease the people
So who
of
buckled under pressure?
Now,
Who buckled under pressure?
the question is still
Why
unsaid
was she
is that
forced to
why
exile from the country,
BJP
seek, when we talk about nationalities and citizenship from other countries, she has been moving around from country to country. Because Priyanka ji, when we speak of the current change in the government, is this symbolic enough for the BJP as well to power that probably that has shifted the fortunes for Taslima Nasrin and others like her?
See, I think everybody was waiting for this moment where, in the real sense, freedom is prevailing everywhere. A person can say that, which never happened when TMC and the left were there. Like I say, an author has a freedom of thought, and she brings out that thought through her expressions of writing by the use of her pen. So now we cannot say that whatever you are writing is not liked by one particular community, and that is why you have to face the exile or persecution or execution. And moreover, when they said that this was all done in Bangladesh. If it was done in Bangladesh, then why is she not having the freedom to come here to Kolkata? Why was she not having the freedom here? Now, again, I'll say selective approach. This selective approach we have witnessed when there were certain pictures and some videos of Ma Kali showing a cigarette in her hand and a bottle of booze in the other hand. Then the government here was of TMC. Then we didn't see that any extremist groups or radicals, they came on the streets and they protested that no, this is wrong, this should not be done. Then why only are they doing so when it is in concern with certain writings of her, which they feel that is an insult to Islam or Quran? There should be equality, and I believe that equality, people have complete belief, including Taslima Nasrin, that it is being practiced now after the BJP government has taken over here in West Bengal.
All right. Professor Rahman, now that is a point of view that is coming in. Of course, Mr. Ansari ji is now trying to say that it was more political, it was more about law and order. Then I'm going to ask, then who buckled under pressure? Because is it now going to revive this long-running debate over free speech, secularism, religious sensitivities? The organizers of this event have now themselves called Taslima Nasrin as a fiery symbol of resistance against religious fundamentalism.
Amita, the core problem is the orthodox elements from the Islamic society does not approve Taslima Nasrin. Even if she is, not liked by them, even if she is misquoting the Quran, even if there is misrepresentation of facts in her books, even then we cannot ask a woman, even a man, to be exiled for that. Tormenting of the woman Gargi by my community people, misusing my Quran, does not approve that what is written in the Quran is true.
But sir, we are a country which is run by rule of law.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point, Amita. What I'm trying to say is, she is doing the same thing as the misogynist and the patriarchal element from my society is doing. She is approving what they are misusing. The Quran is very much perfect. It gives women equal rights. And that is why I was quoting Dr. Rafiq Zakaria's book. And he directly pinpoints where Taslima goes wrong in Lajja. So misrepresentation of the Quran to me
No,
is
if
problematic.
fundamentalists are going to run the shop, sir, then that's already happening in our neighboring countries, sir. And that cannot be given as an example as far as rule of law here in Kolkata is concerned. Because Gargi, although she found refuge abroad, but she repeatedly has been speaking of her emotional attachment to Bengal, and she has expressed her desire to live in Kolkata, a city that she believes that she shares her language, a culture, and also literally heritage.
Right. Right, because Kolkata is the city, we speak the same language, we have the same food habits, same culture. Obviously, she will relate most to Kolkata than any other states. So she should be welcome. And now that Shubhendu Adhikari has come with Gunda Daman Niti, you know, that anti-thug policy, that if you even vandalize public property, you will be made to pay for it. So such kind of strict laws are there. Now you see, nobody will come on the streets. Because when you have strong laws, when you have somebody in power who is implementing the law strongly, we have seen how they have arrested those people in Baruipur who had vandalized railway station and everything. So now since those strong laws are there, now since I'm sure if Taslima goes now, nobody is going to come on the street, nothing will happen. Because they know the strict laws are there. See, if the government wants now, the government can protect a right. If the government, see, they say riots happen only because the government lets it happen. If the government wants to control, the government can, and this time they will do it and show it. And see this hypocrisy of the other parties like TMC and all. See, this same TMC who is now saying, criticizing this, they promoted Shayoni Ghosh, made her MP twice, and Shayoni Ghosh had put condom on Shivling. That was their culture. So if you insult the Hindu religion, that person will be promoted, given post. That the TMC did. And Taslima Nasrin portrayed a real picture of a society and the Bangladeshi society, which was a reality. So there is a difference. There is a difference between Shayoni Ghosh, who insulted Lord Shiva, and we all believe in Shiva. I am myself a Shiv Bhakt. So, and where Taslima Nasrin portrayed a real picture of persecution of minorities in Bangladesh.
Well, in politics, Gargiji, there is no loyalties that they stand. But what example is being given out is something which is important. Because on a political stand, Priyanka ji, when we speak of the BJP now in power in Bengal, they are accusing the TMC and the left of appeasement politics. However, they are coming out to charge at the BJP saying that you are overstepping when it comes to religious sensitivities.
The only answer to this is that the country will run by the rule of law. And the rule of law, nowhere in India supports or approves of these kind of fatwas or execution or exile. I would ask Mr. Atikur Rahman, does he personally approve of fatwas? Is it mentioned in Quran that these fatwas will be issued against women and they will have to go to exile? I don't think that it is there anywhere. Then what kind of radicalism are you speaking about? What kind of support are you speaking about? If it is in the favor of religion, no religion says to persecute someone on these grounds, because there should be freedom of thought and expression.
Well, Asif Ansari ji, now what we have known of the program so far, that she's agreed to participate, what is being said that she will be recounting about her years in exile, recounting the circumstances under which that she had to leave Kolkata, and she will be also reading her poems. Is that objectionable?
Well, Amita, I don't think that is objectionable, as Priyanka ji is here. I love her listening all her ideas, and Gargi ji also has said a lot of things about Taslima. I will be looking forward what she has to say, and most importantly, I will come to Priyanka ji whenever it comes to the freedom of expressions. We will see that how the government is taking the others part of freedom of expression. There not be any subjugation and subdued. If other peoples really have a freedom to opinionate their opinions regarding to any matter, if Taslima Nasrin has the freedom to come here and in a literally programs, I would like to participate in her program and listen what the value additions is going to add over there. And if any freedom of expression has been given the right by the BJP, I really welcome the idea
well, that's
of
a welcome change from your side as well, if you're giving that kind of a statement, because that is what we are looking to establish, isn't it, Priyanka ji? And then I'll come to Professor Rahman. Yes.
Just like to conclude with this, that, you know, we are speaking of peaceful protest. We are speaking about protests where there are no road blockades, where there are no destruction of public properties, where there are no rights, where there is no kind of arson. Because again, I said, what we believe is in the rule of law, and that should prevail.
Yes, Professor Rahman, because when we speak of, you know, the TMC that succeeded the left government, did it also then avoid the issue despite periodic demands from the members of the civil society that the BJP has now sought to protect her as a symbol of resistance against religious orthodoxy?
Amita, this is a political question. Let me address the point which Priyanka ji raised. Priyanka ji, there is no blasphemy in Islam. Even if somebody speaks against the Prophet, it is the Prophet's tradition. He pardoned the most grievous of his tormentors. So there is no blasphemy. I had supported Nupur Sharma. I am here as a researcher on Islamic studies to answer all the doubts of all the people who want to know about Quran and Islam. Even if they are speaking against my religion, against my prophet, I am there to correct them. The only thing, Amita, is we should have a fair chance.
That's the word that has been used, Rahman sir. Protection, not persecution.
Exactly. We should go ahead with it. We should go ahead with it.
Absolutely, because then the question then arises is which government engaged in appeasement? Now that the BJP government here, they are of the opinion that the reign of fundamentalists is now ended. There is now freedom of speech and expression for everyone, and West Bengal is now open. Its doors is wide open for them who want to express, because this is a cultural capital of the country, and this is what dislodged the previous government, which indulged in open appeasement. Well, thank you very much, Gargi ji, Priyanka, Asif Ansari, and to you, Rahman sir, as well, for joining us here on this debate on Urban Debate. Thank you very much for your time. With that, we head into a short break.